Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and this is episode number, let me double check, 319. And today we're going to take a look at a really great single-family home that we have over in downtown Plano, and it is at 716 Wooster Lane.
Really great house. And then our second segment today, we're going to talk about wholesalers, scammers, cash buyers. Oh my.
Guess who wrote that title? Such a good job. Such a good job. All right, so I always talk about I'm going to bring pictures, and I never do, but this time I did bring some pictures. So this weekend I went actually to the Grand Tetons in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and was simply amazed. This actually are the buffaloes, and there's about 80 of them on the side of the road. And the craziest thing is that right before we got there, the sign says, "Slow down, there have been 2 accidents involving buffaloes and vehicles."
That's where they roam.
It is where the buffalo roam. It is amazing. We'll do the next one. And this is actually, we went to the Mormons barn row where there's like 10 different barns down there. And this is the view looking back from there. It's that actual tallest mountain right there, that is the Grand Teton. All those other mountains also have names, but it's really breathtaking. It is actually caused by plate tectonics, and that the eastern side actually sunk and went flat, and that's why there's this giant rise of these mountains out of the ground.
So you're with these, you're on the eastern side of the Tetons, looking to the west.
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. This next one that we're going to look at, this is actually the Snake River, and we took just a quick hike on that. We got there as the sun was rising. We were so lucky because not only the aspens, but all the other trees also were turning. So everything was golden. If it wasn't golden, it was red. It was just amazing. Right here is where we also saw a bull elk with his herd or whatever. I don't know what they call a bunch of elk, but that was substantial. And this almost caused a major accident because we wanted to see a moose so bad. And this is on the way to the hot springs that we went to. And we thought this was real. And I almost I wish you would have seen me. I almost threw Jason out of a moving car so that I could get the picture. It was it was overcast, and it was a little drizzly, and it was off in the distance, and I thought, we are going to get, this is the bull moose of bull mooses. And then not only did this trick us, but there were 3 other cars that also thought that this was real because they had pulled over. It's a statue. It's the funniest thing, but it is amazing. We went here, I think this is called $1 Million Cowboy. This is the little marquee that is there. That's a really cool bar. One of the weirdest things though, Jeff, that is $1 million, it's called $1 Million Cowboy. And it was packed with women. Like, I was like, if the population is truly 50-50 male to female, where are the guys? I mean, it was so off. And I don't mean like married women. I mean, it was straight, young, single women everywhere. So bizarre. Did I give you any other pictures, Zach? No, never mind. Delete that. We're good. All right, so Jackson Hole.
Was that also called the Cougar Bar?
Is the funniest thing is like there were like 6 of us guys standing there. Yep, got hit on just like that. I was like, oh my gosh, I know many of guys that should actually be coming out to Wyoming if they needed a little adventure. But great place. Go to my Instagram. There's a lot more pictures on there, so it's really cool. Be back.
Sounds like a great weekend.
That was good.
So let's talk about Market Watch.
Okay, this thing is insane.
Chaos.
Chaos. There's nothing. There's no other way to put it. The market is in flux right now.
Yeah, coming soons are up a minor amount. New actives were actually down quite a bit. And keep in mind, this is the last week of September. Contracts were down. New contracts were down. Pendings were up a little bit. Solds, I think that's only reflecting the last week of the month.
I mean, that part all makes sense, but what doesn't make sense to me on this is new active listings are down, which I don't get that, and option period. Both of those numbers to me, if I was a seller and could price my house right, given that rates are at 6-ish, I would be bringing it on the market all day long, because I feel like old inventory has sat and fresh new inventory is getting all the attention. I don't know.
It's interesting that looking at the market, we have to look at it from both the buyer and the seller perspective, and it's interesting kind of comparing those in my head sometimes about, if we're representing a buyer, oh my gosh, this thing's been on the market for 60 days and it hasn't had a price reduction yet. I wonder if they're getting desperate yet. But, we're the other side of the coin where we're a listing agent and, we went into it thinking, hey, we thought it was priced right and sellers thought it was priced right. And we're 60 days on the market. We're getting a little activity, but not enough.
Right.
So it's just kind of interesting how we're having to really figure out both sides of it right now.
Well, I mean, you and I were looking at the, the Texas Real Estate School Research Center out of A&M, and their Q2 reports were showing, an increase in days in market between 60 and 80, that 75% of the houses on the market had price reductions, but that the 15% that hadn't had price reductions actually went under contract in the first 8 to 14 days. And so it really does tell you that if in the first 8 to 14 days you're not under contract, there's a chance there's going to be a price reduction ahead for you. So it is, I don't want to say it's a tale of two cities, two real estate markets, but it almost seems like it right now. There's a divide. It's not 50-50.
The real estate market does right now tells you exactly where you need to be very quickly. We've always kind of told that to sellers, but we've never been as, I think we never had as much data, visual data as we do right now to reinforce that.
It is interesting, and I think that we're getting better at finding data, and maybe it's because the research center and some of these other places are better at kicking that data out to us now in a timely manner, versus us having to actually go and hear someone speak and make a presentation and then sign up for the slides, so you just don't get it. But right now the information is definitely pointing. I still think that next month could be a really good month if rates do tick down one more time. If we do see that, I think that buyers should be ready to think about jumping in the market.
Yeah, and the meeting, I can't remember the date of the meeting, October 11th, it's coming up in a week or so.
Is it?
Yeah. It's usually within the first 2 weeks of the month, and we're already at October 30th, 4th-ish right now. So,
all right. So a lot of information. It's all kind of all over the place. But in a lighter, better note, let's talk about 716 Wooster Lane in Plano, Texas.
This is such a killer neighborhood. It is. I really love this. This is an older section of town that has been completely redone by a builder. This is not a brand new construction home, but it looks like it.
Yeah.
From a location perspective, you are just a block and a half off of 75. You are just a few blocks away from George Bush Freeway. There are so many people don't think about Plano as being walkable, but it's very, very walkable in this part of the city.
Probably 7 to 10 years ago it wasn't, but it is now. I mean, this downtown McKinney, Salina, all these places are really seeing this boost back. And I think it's because people do like to have that livable, walkable lifestyle, but maybe can't afford to live inside of the Dallas bubble. And therefore, these do make perfect sense, because not everybody needs the yard. Not everybody needs, 3,800 square feet. They need the modern science, the new build, and this does work for it, And like you're saying, great commuting. So whether you're headed into downtown Dallas, which is easy, or heading even further north, this makes life great. I always like to point out, like when we zoom out a little bit, that Dallas has really great airports. And so whether you need Love or whether you need McKinney or you need Addison Airport, that's great. But one of the exciting things that's coming up over here is that they've broken ground on the McKinney public side of the commercial airport. And that is really, it's kind of ruffled feathers, but that could make a huge game changer.
10 years from now, it's going to be a game changer.
100%. And so you would then have options of 3 different airports, with one of them being almost in your backyard.
And I think that airport's going to make a big difference, because there is so much industry, new industry that is occurring up Highway 75 to the Oklahoma border. And I think, if you've driven up there, if you've gone to the casino or wherever up there, you have seen how the city has become joined all the way to the border.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see so much more commercial and residential development up there just because it has an airport now.
And the other thing too is that'll alleviate some of the pressure of those people that come in from Oklahoma, come in from Arkansas, come in from Louisiana. This could be one of the ways that slows that down, because I know, like Love Field, if you do not book your parking ahead, whether it's short term or long term, you might want to Uber and drop yourself off, because it is not simple.
One of the things that the locals love in this neighborhood that we've found so interesting is called Urban Crust. And Urban Crust has a 32-degree rooftop bar. That's what they call it. And they call it that because they serve draft beer at 32 degrees, and they serve liquor at -5 degrees Fahrenheit.
You want to talk about the martinis that can come out of that machine? That is just about a martini slushy. So I would be down for those. And I love my thin crust pizza like that. And I love it if it's wood fired. And that arugula salad right there. Anyway, and you wouldn't have known, but I've already eaten today, and I'm still like thinking this sounds so good. One of the other things that we can do over there is, if you need to go inside and host a large event, there is the Courtyard Theater that can actually seat 321. This is a really great venue that is set aside for the public and allows you, whether you're a small troupe of theater, perform here, maybe you have a little graduation or something, this is your setting.
And so I went Sunday night. I went to the Irving Arts Center and I saw the candlelight concert of Queen and ABBA, which was spectacular. I mean,
Really?
I can't tell you how great that was. It was done in a theater about this same size. It had a little bit different. The seating was a little bit more raked up than this is, but it had the small opera balconies on the side. But it was packed, and they were doing 2 shows on Sunday night.
And this is the candlelight one, right?
Yes.
Was it real candles?
They were. They were probably the digital ones.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was really cool, and so I see something like that happening here very, very easily.
Absolutely. I love this. And now we also like to point out things that you can do outdoors, because it is always the question that people have about Dallas and the area. And this is a really great outdoor space. And it is, 300 acres, Jeff?
800 acres.
800 acres.
Is the largest public park in the city of Plano.
So this is right around the corner, and it has both water features, it has trails that are both dog friendly, but also equestrian friendly, which I think is a really Texas thing that you could do out here.
And they have kayaking, paddleboarding. There's really so much outdoor stuff to do. There's a section of the park that's called Go Ape, where they have zip lines, and they have rope walks,
rope courses.
So everything you would want to do outdoors, you can do in this park, and almost all of it's free.
And all of this can be in the ease of probably 5 miles or less?
Probably.
So great ideas. Enjoy, please.
So let's talk about the home.
So this is 716 Wooster Lane. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, just under 1,900 square feet, and it was built in 2018. It also, as you can see in this picture, has a wonderful courtyard and a little covered front porch, which makes this home factor so high for me.
This was one of the upgrades that they did when they purchased it, and I think it was one of the smartest things they could have done, because it does really almost double your indoor living space. Being under 1,900 square feet, you don't have a lot of wasted space, like for your second living area or for your formal dining room, and then your kitchen eating area. This is all just very well laid out. 10-foot ceilings on this level. As you can see, there's windows on every side, so you get that constant light. Doesn't matter the time of day or night, you've got really great natural light.
It almost has a coastal house feel to me, just the way that it's constructed. I like the fact that we have high ceilings and we have a very open floor plan, so it allows for ease both from the dining room and to the living room, But as you can see here, the kitchen was really well set up.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you've got the stackable microwave over the oven with a kitchen island that does not have the sink in it, so it can be completely used. They've also upgraded the cabinets above with both glass. Just little things that I think goes a long way. I don't think we have a picture of it. When you go into the garage, they've also epoxied the floor, and there's also storage in there. So these are all elements that really make moving into this house truly turnkey. They also kept the wood floor in the hallway upstairs, nice high ceilings. And this is David Weekley, is that correct, Jeff?
I don't believe so.
Okay, clip that out. So when you walk upstairs, one of the great things is the size of the master bedroom. It's a little difficult maybe to see, but when you put into scale, the size of the beds, the size of the end tables, and then the couch, and then 2 other dressers, you really begin to see that this is a good size. So
it's a big bedroom.
if you have to have like a small work from home desk, this works out perfectly for that.
Separate tub, separate shower, really nicely done bathroom. You've got double vanity sinks with quartz countertops, a big walk-in closet. Does have a water closet with a door, which I think is very, very important when you get into this price point. Tile floors, done, and the wash and dryer up on that level as well.
So you also have 2 more bedrooms upstairs. They Jack and Jill into the second full bath. I just like the way that the upstairs makes sense. They didn't skimp on the height of the ceiling because it is not actually attached to another building. You have windows on all sides, which again makes a house like this feel like more of a home. This one has a really nice barn door that transitions into that bathroom. And as you can see through that picture, you can see that that's where the other door is. So it's really easy. It takes up this front corner of the house that you see here. Both of the bedrooms also have walk-in closets, which is one of the things that nobody's getting the house or the bedroom with less. These all have everything that you need. Again, high ceilings. This is a tub shower combo. It has a toilet both for the full flush and for the water saving flush. So when we step back outside, you can see, again, really nice scenario. The driveway is in the back. I prefer a rear entry garage, which this has, so it makes the front of the house much more appealing. And that is consistent throughout this entire neighborhood.
So this is 716 Wooster Lane in Plano. This is a 3-bedroom, 2 full, 1 half, bath, 2-car garage, built in 2018, little over 1,800 square feet, and it is priced at $499.9, and that is $270 a square foot.
So one of the things that we like to do is actually give you the link in the comments so that you can actually click on it and see the rest of the pictures that we didn't use. There's also floor plans that you can look at. You can zoom in and out on that map and really get an idea of the proximity of some of the elements that Jeff and I had mentioned earlier. But one of the great things is you can share it with your friends and family or somebody who else might be interested in it. And if you'd like to see it, let us know and we'd be happy to make that happen.
Thank you.
Dun-dun-dun. How'd I do, Zach? Did I nail that one? Okay. Good deal. All right, Jeff, you know what? I think you have to say the name again, but I think we need a little pizzazz. Like, it needs to have something so that it's going to have a hook when he uses on social media, so let it rip.
So stand by for wholesalers, scams, cash buyers. Oh my.
Ooh, Jeff, that was
Is that what you wanted?
excellent.
Okay.
Well, I see Jeff has turned it up with that Red Bull that he drank before the show. All right. So this is important. Why is this important?
Everybody and their brother is getting so many text messages right now and phone calls about, hey, can I buy your house on da-da-da-da-da-da? And they know the address of the property that you own. It might be your primary address, might be rental property. They are getting so specific in these that they're saying, hey, Jeff, are you interested in selling your house at Dallas?
I noticed that you've owned it for 10 years.
Yeah,
20 years.
That kind of.
We've got buyers waiting. Well, the other thing, too, I thought that was interesting is when we were talking about the show, before the show, Zach was like, you know, guys are talking about what HUT makes sounds like it's super simple.
True.
And I was like, oh, he's right. So this is going to be a little probably controversial when you think about the way that some of the media markets are actually presenting it. But why don't you take and listen to what we say, and then you decide, because we'll tell you what we see and have seen in our experience from professionalism. Tell us about it, Jeff.
Well, so I'm going to talk about. I'm going to call these people wholesalers, and I'm segmenting the market because there genuinely could be people that are texting you that have the cash and have the ability to buy something from you. But I would venture to say that 90% of the people that are reaching out to you are wanting to get your house under contract and try to sell it to somebody else so they can make a referral fee.
So, and that is the difference. So if you and I mail into a neighborhood and send a letter, and we would call it a farming letter, it would say, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, your house is on the market at this address, and we have a client that has noted this neighborhood as something of interest." And we do that because we actually have that, and we've done it, and it's been successful over there in the Brookhaven area. But these are not that.
No.
These are people who are literally doing the and or assign on the contract, and then once they lock it under contract, are searching for something.
Well, yes, and in most instances, that you brought up the and or signs, and that's where I'm going with that. That is kind of a red flag number one.
I would agree.
In offers that you receive, because what that and or signs does is it gives that buyer the right to sell their interest in that contract to anyone out there, whether they have the capability of closing or not. It gives them the right to sell their position. So you may have done all of your research and made sure the people, you got the pre-qualification letter, you may have done as much research, but if they're going to sign that contract to somebody that doesn't have that qualification, you're kind of stuck. And
we actually, and that is a negotiating portion of the contract. You do not have to do that, but they usually want that and make that required. The other thing too to watch for that they don't tell you that's going to happen is that once it's under contract, they will market it like it is their own listing, which is just so foreign to the way that we do business.
There's actually a real estate commission rule that says, and not all of them follow it, but there is a real estate commission rule that is in force that says that if you are only marketing your equitable interest in a contract or in a property, basically meaning you have it under contract, you have to disclose that. But not all of them do.
Or if they do, it's like that big font, you know. So there are they target you, and their pitch is that it will be a speedy close. Like they're really like honing in on that. But if you think about it, when we talk about a quick close, what's quicker? It's cash. And so it's the cash buyer that's going to come in, and it's not necessarily this person right here, because they're going to nickel and dime once they put it under contract.
And they would also, in many cases, they will start marketing the property before they even put earnest money in, the title company. So those are two other red flags. Is in the offer that you receive, if there's a really small option fee, maybe it's a $100 option fee, and let's say that it's a $300,000 house and they only want to put $1,000 up in earnest money. Bright red flags. Bright red flags.
So in the industry, as far as it was our listing, we are looking for a minimum of 1%. A minimum, and then if there's any other reason to extend those option periods, we ask for additional money. But yes.
And what one of the ways that these contracts or wholesalers work is once they get the home under contract, they'll basically have in their contract many times they'll want authorization to put a lockbox on the property, so that they can have all of their contractors start going in and out of that property. And what they're going to do, and this happens, it is never,
every time.
It is. I'm going to say every time, and I don't like to
I'll
say that,
every.
but every time there is going to be a renegotiation of repairs that really are not necessary. I mean, they're going to tell you they need $50,000 off for A, B, and C, and A, B, and C might be something to be wrong with it, but they are going for the biggest number that they can.
And they also don't always bring in an inspector. They just bring in a contractor that's going to make an assumption, and if he had to replace it, but he may not have to. he may just be throwing that number in there just to get more off on the sales price. It's not an actual failure or anything that's wrong with the home.
So you have to go through that. You have to go that negotiation twice, and it's not fun. Kind of pros, a couple of pros. You may find a real cash buyer for that property that may be a genuine buyer that may be prepared to do that. One of the things that we always look at whenever we get a cash buy or cash offer on a property is getting proof of funds. And proof of funds, many times with wholesalers, it's going to come from ABC Financial Services, and it's going to say something generic like Bill Smith LLC has immediate liquidity of over in excess of $1 million, signed Joe Smith, CEO. Right. And, you know.
No. When we send that over, we actually redact the actual numbers of the account, but you see the actual dollar amount in someone's account. It's not that.
Yeah. So, you know, you may find somebody that's going to do that. There is minimal prep. There are no showings. That is also another positive. And then we always say get a data point before you decide to do something like this, because
define data point.
The data point really is look at what the cost, what the proceeds would be with that kind of quick sale, because many times the purchase price is lower, but many times your expenses are also lower. Compare that to what that property would sell for on the open market if you just brought it to average condition. You know, if you invested $50,000 in it, are you going to make another $75,000? Or, you know, and maybe the numbers never have to be that big. Maybe it's put another $10,000 in to get another $20,000.
Right.
But look at both of those ways just to make sure you're doing the right thing, because there is a cost associated with that transaction that you don't see.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I can think of 2 of our clients that did that, and I think they were at the end trying to figure out how to break the contract, and they couldn't. And I was like, nah, don't know to tell you.
So a couple, we're going to give you just a few 2-minute screening questions. These are questions that you need to have answers to before you sign any contract. Who will take title to the property? Is it you or an assignee?
Right.
And so that is very, very important. Proof of funds for that exact buyer. That is critically important, because you don't want them using a different LLC name on the proof of funds letter. That's useless.
They need to line up, is what he's saying.
Option period length needs to be reasonable, and the option fee amount needs to be reasonable. One of the people always ask, well, what's a reasonable option fee? And there's not really. It's not like you can say, well, it's $100 per 100,000 or anything like that, because to me it comes down to what kind of buyer, what kind of transaction details do you have? If you're looking at a cash buyer that is wanting to buy this and they're wanting a healthy discount on it, I want a really large option fee to know that they're serious, because they're going to get that back if they close.
Right.
But I also don't want them tying my property up for 10 days and asking for a reasonable amount of repairs, and then you go back on the market again. It's a bad situation to be in.
And one of the things that we've talked about in the past is how important a title company is. And there's a lot of times these wholesalers are in long-standing relationships with a title company that might not be as fastidious about some of the requirements within the contract, and therefore allow a wholesaler to be either step out or not actually receive earnest and option fee. And therefore, if they realize that the price they paid for it is unacceptable to anyone in a really short amount of time, they just terminate, and the title company says, well, they never turned any money into us.
Yeah.
And that is such a violation of where we are right now. Yeah.
So it's, the assignment right, we talked about the and/or signs, and in many cases, as the seller, you can also control how much that fee is going to be that the buyer is going to be paid. Because if the wholesaler is doing this for a reason, and it's usually to make money, and so I think a logical question is, well, how much is your assignment fee? How much are you going to charge other people to step into the contract? It's another data point to use in figuring out how much more your house might be worth on the open market.
Exactly, because it will definitely be worth more.
Last 2-minute screen questions. Closing day, if there's any extension possibilities, and if there is, how do you get compensated for those extra days? And you can calculate, whatever your holding cost of the property is, and tell them, for every day that we have to extend beyond the original closing date, you have to pay an extra $100.
Yep. Yeah, that's a tough one, especially if you get the wrong title company in play.
Yeah, I
Good luck
agree.
enforcing that. I would say this much: if in the contract, right in there, that the title company releases the earnest and option fee directly to the seller, and that the seller then will credit it at closing. That way, there's a lot more control of the situation. Also, that lets a wholesaler know that you understand the guidelines, or you understand the contract, and therefore are going to be a very disciplined and times of the essence kind of a guy.
Thorough.
Very good.
So I hope you found this helpful. There's probably a lot of questions that you've got around this, and if you have any that you want to answer, just reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer those.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.